and good evening, everyone. My name is Bimal Master. I'm the Chief Mentor for IMS in Mumbai, and I welcome you to this special webinar titled An In-Depth Analysis of Blockchain, Cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin with a Case Study. This is a very exciting field to be in, and we had a really wonderful session last month, which gave us which gave a comprehensive introduction to the topic. Today, we shall be going much further and giving the participants a more in-depth understanding of the topic. So the key takeaways from today's session will be, first of all, to understand what is blockchain and why is it used. Second, to be able to explain the different components involved with blockchain. Third, to understand when and why you may want to use blockchain within your environment. And fourth, to develop a higher level understanding of what cryptocurrency actually is. So let's start with some quick definition. Blockchain is essentially the technology that enables the existence of cryptocurrency, among other things. Bitcoin is the name of the best known cryptocurrency, the one for which blockchain technology was invented. A cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange, such as the US dollar, but it is digital and uses encryption techniques to control the creation of monetary units and to verify the transfer of funds. So unlike paper money, it typically does not exist in physical form and is typically not issued by a central authority. Cryptocurrencies typically use decentralized control as opposed to central banking systems. When implemented with decentralized control, each cryptocurrency works through distributed ledger technology, typically a blockchain, that serves as a public financial transaction database. Bitcoin, first released as open source software way back in 2009, is the first decentralized cryptocurrency. Since the release of Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies have also been created. As you may be aware, Bitcoin has actually seen a tremendous rally in its value since last year, breaching $40,000 for the first time ever on the 8th of Jan, showing a growth of more than 300% in just 1 year. As of today, it is somewhere around 37,000 as dollars as the value. Experts are predicting this surge to last well into 2021 as well. So to throw more light on this exciting subject and to present their perspective on the topic, I'm pleased to introduce Professor Dr. Poonam Garg, the Professor for Information Systems at IMT Ghaziabad. We also have with us Dr. Manish Kumar Jain, an international corporate trainer, technical consultant, data scientist, IoT solution architect, and a blockchain architect. Welcome, Dr. Garg and Dr. Jain, and thank you for being part of this session. If I may quickly, introduce the speakers in a little more detail, Dr. Poonam Garg is a PhD in computer science. He has 28 plus years of experience in teaching, research, and consulting. Presently, she is working as a professor with Institute of Management Technology in Ghaziabad. Her current research interests are in the areas of blockchain, enterprise resource planning, social media analytics, developing heuristics and meta-heuristics, particularly genetic algorithm, simulated annealing-based meta-heuristic for various optimization problems, such as cryptanalysis of various encryption algorithms, and project management. Her teaching interests are in management information system, blockchain, enterprise resource planning, design thinking, information security, networking concepts, and planning and management information systems. She has published papers in leading international journals and has edited 10 books. She has served many international conferences as a conference co-chair, conference track chair, and member of program committee. Dr. Manish Jain has over 18 years of industry experience as an international corporate trainer and technical consultant. He has worked for Infosys Bangalore for 5 years and is a subject matter expert and content developer for IBM Innovation Center for Education, that is ICE, as well as for Microsoft Education Program. He is also a technical instructor for CDAC program. He has completed his MCA in management, MTech in data science, and PhD from the UK in deep learning research area. He created his own cryptocurrency and crypto wallet called Samriddhi Mudra. He is part of the Smart City implementation project from the Government of India as an IoT consultant. So it is wonderful to have both of you with us today, Dr. Garg and Dr. Jain. Guys, before I invite the eminent speakers to address you, let me remind you that towards the end of the session, they will be answering any questions that you may have for them. So feel free to type out your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll try our best to answer as many questions as we can accommodate. Please do not use the chat box to answer questions. Okay, so just make use of the Q&A box. May I also request Dr. Garg and Dr. Jain to keep an eye on the Q&A box, right? And type your answers to any question that you might want to answer, right, while the other speaker is presenting. Okay, so Dr. Garg, may I now request you to address our listeners?
Okay. So thanks for the introduction. So good evening, participants. I hope you all are excited to start your B school journey in the time to come. Keeping in mind, let us start the introduction of blockchain. So our agenda. So we have divided this the entire presentation into three parts. The first I will discuss about the blockchain basics. Then Dr. Manish will take about blockchain technology, blockchain industry-based applications. So one disclaimer for this class is please do not dabble in Bitcoin unless you know what you are doing. So there is no legal and financial advice in this class. So as most of the people has confused about these two terms, blockchain and Bitcoin. So here Bitcoin is not blockchain, or and blockchain is not Bitcoin. It means Bitcoin is just one application of blockchain. So here we are talking about, in this session we will talk about what is blockchain and what is the industry based application of blockchain apart from Bitcoin. Okay, so it is a normal confusion Bitcoin between Bitcoin and blockchain. So here I just wanted to mention here these are two different things, and Bitcoin is just one example of blockchain. So let us start with the definition of blockchain. So if I'll rightly just summarize the definition for blockchain, it is a distributed computation information sharing platform that enables multiple authoritative domain who do not trust each other to cooperate, coordinate, and collaborate in rational decision making process. So basically it is a distributed system. I will explain what is distributed system, what is centralized system, what is decentralized system. Just park this question for some time, for the time being. But if as a definition, it is a distributed computation information sharing platform that enables multiple authoritative domain, means there are multiple parties who do not trust each other, even though this blockchain provides a information sharing platform so that both parties can cooperate, coordinate, and collaborate in rational decision making process, right? So let us understand this definition with one use case. Here if suppose Alice and Bob, these are two different authoritative domain. Okay, these are two different parties. They wanted to share the documents. Then in that case, what is the traditional way of sharing the document? The traditional way of sharing the information is Alice can write the email and send it to Bob, and Bob can further, if suppose there is some editing, suppose Bob wanted to modify some of the content, then he has to write back the content and then send it to Alice. So what is the problem with this kind of architecture? The one problem with this kind of architecture is like they cannot edit the text simultaneously, right? So first, let me just again reiterate, there are two parties, Alice and Bob. They wanted to exchange the documents. So what is the traditional way? Traditional way is sending the mail, as we have already seen. So if suppose two person wanted to send the information, then in that case either they can exchange the mail. Then in that case, there is a biggest problem with this architecture is like they cannot edit this text simultaneously. And second, if suppose both has a email account on Gmail, then they are heavily dependent on Gmail, right? If suppose Gmail server is for the time being, it is out of order or it is not available to both the parties, then in that case they cannot share the information. So what is the second way? Second way for simultaneously editing the content is Google Docs. So in this case, again, Alice and Bob both can edit the document simultaneously. But at the same time, there is a problem. Problem is still they are heavily dependent on Google Docs. So does centralized system harm? So answer is, if suppose you do not have a sufficient bandwidth on Google Docs, then in that case, you will not be able to edit. Then second point is, if suppose Google Docs server crashes, then in that case, parties, multiple authoritative domains cannot edit on this. Then in that case, what is the solution? Solution is either the system should be decentralized or it should be distributed. So let us understand here what is centralized system and what is, let me just take mark with red color. Here, first, before coming to the actual use case of blockchain, let us try to understand what is centralized, what is decentralized, and what is distributed system. This is my centralized system. So there is only one coordinator, like Google Docs. If I'll take an example of Google Docs, Google Docs is centralized system, and all nodes are directly connected with single coordinator. In case if suppose this is out of order, then in that case what will happen? All nodes cannot work because this is centralized, right? So we are moving from centralized system to decentralized system. Here there are multiple coordinators. These are multiple coordinators. In case one of the coordinator is out of order, then in that case, all node will be connected with the nearest coordinator, right? So in this way, work will not suffer. So it means if suppose if suppose there is a platforms, decentralized platform, if one of the server is out of order, then in that case, all nodes will be directly connected with the nearest server, nearest coordinator, and work will not be suffered. And here third type of platform is your distributed network. Distributed network is everyone collectively execute the job. So there is no middleman, there is no in between of the nodes, and they are directly communicating with each other. So here if I'll talk about definition of blockchain, it is a distributed. So distributed means every node is exchanging their information, right, and then with consensus, and they are updating their information automatically. And here, if suppose, if I'll talk about the blockchain, then in that case here, I want one system where Alice and Bob, they will update in their local copy. And this is the responsibility of this network that will just ensure the consistency. It means whatever Alice is editing, that should be reflected to Bob document. Whatever Bob is changing anything, then in that case it should be reflected to Alice. So it means here, if I say this is, if I'll replace the entire internet with blockchain, then in that case, both party can edit the document simultaneously. So it is a distributed database with strong consistency support. So nodes constantly communicate with each other to keep transaction up to date. So basically, this is the role of blockchain network to ensure the consistency between the documents. So here, if I'll go again in the detail of the blockchain definition, then in that case, we can assume that this is one node, second node, or you can call it, this is a authoritative domains. Okay, so these authoritative domain contains here the global data sheet, and this global data sheet we are calling it as a public ledger, right? So every node maintains a local copy of global data sheet. The system ensure consistency among the local copies. So it means if any transaction is there, then in that case, all node must contain here the information about that particular transaction. And this is called as public ledger. So let's try to understand this with an example. Suppose there are four participants, four authoritative domain, Alice, Bob, Eve, and Zenny, right? And Alice has 100 BTC and she wanted to transfer 50 BTC to Bob. Then in that case, this transaction should be recorded to all the with all the nodes, right? Now in the next transaction, if suppose Bob wanted to transfer 30 BTC to Eve, then in that case, this is your third transaction and this will be get recorded in the public ledger, right? Now if I'll say next transaction is 80. Now Alice wanted to transfer 80 BTC to Jenny. Then in that case, it is not possible because they will do the back calculation. Back calculation means Alice has initially 100 BTC, but she transferred 50 BTC to Bob. Here the total balance of BTC with Alice is now how much? 50. 50 only. And now with this balance, she wanted to transfer 80 BTC, which is not possible, right? So in this way, it will just invalid the transaction. So basically, the role of blockchain is to ensure the consistency across the network. Okay, so if I'll say what is blockchain, then in that case you can assume that this is the one block, second block, third block, fourth block, fifth block, and first block of the blockchain is called as genesis block, right? And every block is pointed to the previous block with some hash pointer. I will explain that what is hash pointer. And block 2 is again pointed to block 1. So it means every block contains the address of previous block. And basically it is not the address, it is a hash pointer. So it means if I'll talk about what is hash pointer, so let me just show you. Okay. So if suppose I am writing here some data and it will perform here SHA-256 algorithm. SHA-256 algorithm, it is a cryptographic algorithm, a secure hash algorithm 256. It means whatever you will write, it will just give the output in a fixed length, and that fixed length is called as that fixed length is 256 bit. So here, if suppose this block 0, it will be passed, whatever is there in the block 0 will be passed through the SHA-256, and whatever address will come, that will be stored in block 1, right? Similarly, block 1 will be passed through the SHA-256 algorithm, and whatever address will come, that will be get recorded in block 2. It means in case if somebody is trying to change anything in any of the block, then in that case it will be get reflected in the next block. So in this way, it will secure the entire blockchain. So if I'll say what is blockchain, so blockchain is if you will this is a kind of simulation. If I'll say here this is block number 1, and block number 1, because this is the first block, genesis block, then in that case there is no previous block before this. Then in that case here the previous address, previous hash value is 0. And when you will pass the entire block through this hash 256, then this number will come, and it is a one time password. So it means from this text you cannot recover what was the plain text, because always it gives the fixed length, that is 256. And if I'll talk about the second block, then second block contains the address of previous one. So what is the hash value? This is the hash value, and you can see here this value will get recorded into block number 2. So similarly, block number 3, it will be get record, it will get the hash value of second block will get recorded in this block number 3. So in this way you can say this will make, this hash property will make secure the entire blockchain, right? So this is the technical definition. Technical definition of blockchain is a linked list that is built with hash pointer instead of regular pointers. So basically all blocks contains, so current block contains the address of previous one. So this is the technical definition. Semi technical definition is a blockchain is open. What does it mean by open? Open means anyone can access this. It is a open source. It is a open source and permissionless. So permissionless means anyone can enter into the blockchain. Let's say if suppose there is a Bitcoin network, then in that case it is a permissionless. It is a public blockchain, and anyone can enter into that public blockchain at any point of time and can see what is going around this blockchain. And second is it is borderless. There is no boundary. And what is the decentralized? As I already explained, it is decentralized, distributed, public, trustless, and immutable record of transaction. So it means whatever you have just entered any transaction, it is immutable. Nobody, it will not allow you to change anything within this network, because this will be passed through the hash algorithm. If any changes will occur, then in that case entire blockchain after this will be invalid. And if I'll talk about financial accounting definition, then in that case blockchain is a public distributed ledger of peer-to-peer transaction. So here, this is the example for SHA-256 that I have already explained. So why blockchain? It bring trust. Trust because of cryptographic algorithm. Because all transaction will be signed with digital signature, and all block will be passed through the hash 256 algorithm, and as a result it enhance the security of the entire blockchain. And immutable, by it is immutable because once it is any transaction get recorded, it is really difficult to change the entire transaction. And the final and the last important part for why blockchain is, it will remove all intermediaries. Let us say, let me take the example of cross country payment, right? So when you are sending any amount from India to, let's say, USA, then in that case it will pass through the Swift network, and it will pass through the multiple banks. So basically, after implementation of blockchain, it will remove almost all intermediaries, right? Let me just take another example, crowdsourcing. If suppose I will replace this crowdfunding platform with some smart contract, then in that case automatically it will remove all the intermediaries like crowdfunding platform, right? So in future there might be possibility like if suppose the organization is will use blockchain, then in that case lot of efficiency will come in the organizations. So where is blockchain? If I'll just show you, these are the okay. If suppose, let's say I wanted to see here the what is the current status of the blockchain, because as I already told you, it is permissionless, it is open. I'm just trying to display here the what is the status of current blockchain, current Bitcoin. So here currently we this particular block is running, right? And the reward value is 7.37. If suppose I'll click on this, then in that case you will find here this is the block hash, previous hash, and next block, right? And you can find here these are the values, these are the entries of the block. So what is the height, what is the number of confirmation, what is the weight, what is the transaction count? So it means in this particular block there are 2721 transactions, right? And the difficulty level is this: nonce is also defined. So Dr. Manish will explain what is nonce. Any miner who will solve the complex problem has to generate the nonce value, right? If suppose he is able to generate current nonce, then in that case that particular miner should be allowed to add the block into the blockchain. So that will be covered by Dr. Manish. So basically I'm just trying to explain here what are the different parts of block, what is there in the block. So these are the block components, and you can see here these are the transactions. So here this is the public key, and all are public key. So name is not disclosed, right? But at the same time, one public key is transferring the money to another public key. So basically wallet, that part is explained by the Manish. So basically I'm just trying to explain here what are there in the blocks. So next, if I'll go about next, so I think I request Dr. Manish to just take over from here.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Myself is Dr. Mauritian. I am taking the session from now onward. Okay. So Madam has described about the blockchain concept. What is the blockchain? How we are doing this blocking and all these things. Now, let me discuss about more depth analysis for that. So, basically, I am from technical background, so I can discuss more about this development, deployment, and the real-time use cases as well. So when you talk about the blockchain technology, so we are having few features which are leading the way. The first one, we have peer-to-peer network. The meaning is that there is no centralized repository. So all the nodes, they are connecting to each other for transaction of anything into the blockchain. So let me tell you one thing here, because I think you heard about maximum architecture as per Bitcoin, not for the blockchain, because I have seen the questions. The questions are mainly based on the Bitcoin, not for the blockchain. So let me clarify one thing here. Bitcoin is a black box. So like Satoshi Nakamoto, whatever things he has done, so that is coming with the help of their internal architecture. But when you're going with the real-time blockchain development, example is that like I have created my own cryptocurrency. I support it for the digital degree for many leading universities. I propose for this healthcare, like corona vaccine distribution with the help of blockchain. So we are using some different types of mechanism for public and private blockchain architecture. So the one we have done, that is called peer-to-peer network. Second, we are having hash encryption. So whatever database we are keeping over in the blockchain warehouse, so we are keeping the things with the help of hash encryption. So as per the initial architecture, he recommended that we have to go with the 256.3. Why? The reason is that because once you keep any encryption, you cannot go back, you cannot turn back. But now the researcher, they're proposing this SHA 512. So that having 3 layer of the secure connection. So like, in the existing one, we have the option called 51% attack. But now here in SHA 512, there is no chance for the 51% attack as well. So things are more secure and more transparent with the help of these options. Next one, we are having some different types of algorithms in the blockchain. Like if you know machine learning, we are having some types of algo called regression, decision tree, PCA, and all these things. On the same way, here also we are having some n number of algorithms. So like we have proof of work, proof of stack, PBFT, proof of elapsed time. So all these algos having a different types of segmentation, and we can use it for the different types of purpose as well. So initially, because if we talk about as per the Bitcoin architecture, so they use something called proof of work. So like if you want a Bitcoin, so there are two ways to get a Bitcoin. The way one is that you have to do some mining process. So in the mining, you have to be solve some mathematical puzzle, some difficult puzzle, then you will get some portion of the Bitcoin here. But if you wanted to get some Bitcoin directly with any third party, so this is called proof of stake. So these are the examples we are having here in the proof of work and proof of stake here. Next one, ma'am. Ma'am, can you move further? Sure, ma'am. Next slide. Yeah. So you can see that now here we have the encryption example. So like here, as I told you that they're having SHA 256, but now in the next blockchain 4.2, they are going to use SHA 512. which are having a more secure layer, and this 51% attack is not possible into the advanced flavor of this blockchain. Next one. Yeah. So now here, this is what we are talking about, the algorithm for the blockchain. So I told you that we are having different types of algorithm. So basically the proof of work, proof of stake, proof of elapsed time is the part of Bitcoin algorithm. But when you talk about the blockchain for any real-time example, like something called healthcare, the insurance, supply chain, bank, so we can generate our own algos depend upon the requirement from the market. So like suppose I have taken some algorithm from the regression model, will make some decision and we can combine with the help of blockchain as well. So these are the options are available inside the algorithm. So as per the Wikipedia, we are having approximate 7,000 plus of algos in a blockchain. So the algos can be worked as per the requirement of the business. If we talk about the finance, we are having different algos. If you wanted to combine Ripple with the help of Ethereum, we are having different algos. If you want to perform any hybrid blockchain with the help of Hyperledger, we are having different types of algos here. Ma'am, next one. Yeah. Finally, we are coming with the blockchain program. So what is the meaning of blockchain program here? So like, if you want to develop your own application, which is based on the blockchain, so there are two options. See, development for blockchain is not a rocket science. That is a simple one. Only the thing is that you should know that what is the basic architecture of blockchain, how to create the hash, how to create the block, how to create a transaction. If you know all these things, you can perform the operation with the help of blockchain program. So we are having three different types of mode for blockchain application development. Number one, we can go for cloud environment. So all these leading cloud like AWS, Azure, they are having this blockchain, the tool over on the place. And for the offline, we can go for Ethereum, Ripple, as well as the Hyperledger. We can develop the solutions. And apart from this, if you want to deploy any blockchain application for your own private cloud like OpenStack or Rackspace, we have the options. So like nowadays in India, we are having the few common issues like, something called, if I'm talking about EVM. So probably the political parties, they are saying that they can hack the EVM and they're getting all the board. They are saying that we are not doing this. So we can solve all these problems with the help of blockchain concept here. So because of that, always I'm saying that blockchain is not a Bitcoin here. We can use the blockchain for the multiple programs. So, I propose the solution to the Election Commission of India. So not only for the identification, apart from this, if they can deploy or if they can develop the application based on the blockchain, so user can give the vote from anywhere in the world. So for the verification, we can give the retina, which can be connecting with the Aadhaar card UID number. We can cross-check with the immigration database if somebody wanted to give the vote and if he or she is not available in India in the time of election, or we can do some other operations as well. So basis on that, we can deploy a smooth, safe, and transparent election campaign here in India as well. So all these application, all these programs we can do with the help of blockchain programming. So here the basic requirement is that the basic knowledge how to create a block transaction and multiple things here. Else we can do with the help of Ethereum where we have programming called Solidity. We can do with the Hyperledger where we have programming called Go programming. Apart from this, we have a common programming called R in Python and we can do the same operations as well. Okay. So ideally, what is the blockchain program? So there are two different names for the blockchain program. One is called the smart contract. Second, we have the chain node. Okay. So only in the Hyperledger, the people they are saying that chain node. Chain node means we are connecting multiple program, multiple transaction to one chain. That is called the chain node. But in normal application or in normal programming, it's called a smart contract. So smart contract is nothing but term and conditions into the digital format. So whenever you are using this blockchain solution, make sure that there should be no interruption of the manual component. So because of that, always this blockchain will be the part of Industry 4.0. There is no scope of manually intervention. So this is what we can do with the help of these solutions here. So we are writing the smart contract with the help of term and conditions, with the help of coding. And we are adding all the parties into the blockchain, into that smart contract. So whenever things are happening, it will be recorded into all the ledger in all the node. If anytime somebody will try to modify something, automatically, immediately, it can be updated into the record that something is happening in the place. So if we talk about a simple thing is that, in the blockchain, they are saying that the data can be unchangeable. You cannot change the data value. So of course that is true, but in the private blockchain, we have the option. We can make the reference copy of database. So in the reference copy, it will have the information previously, what was the data we are having. Now what new information we are having here in the place. So not the updation of the old one, but we are having some reference of the copy. So that feature is available into the Hyperledger program here. Yeah. Okay. So now here you can see that that is a one program for Solidity, which is the part of Ethereum. So Ethereum is one of the platform where we can develop the blockchain-based solution, blockchain-based application. So actually Ethereum having a currency called the Ether, like how we have the Ripple. Ripple is also the one of the currency. So here we can use that currency for doing some transactions. Apart from this, we can develop our own applications as well. So when you talk about Ethereum, when you talk about Ripple, we can make the smart contract as well as that we can use the currency. But when you talk about the Hyperledger, there is no currency, but we can develop the private blockchain application. So this is what we have the smart application or the smart contract here. Ma'am, the next one. Yeah. So finally, I will discuss about some use cases because time is limited. Madam, can you scroll down? We have some Indian example for blockchain. Down, 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 down. Yes, ma'am, this one. Okay. So let me discuss some real-time use cases of blockchain in India prospectus. So like, we are having a lot of examples. So here I will not discuss about for the cryptocurrency. For the cryptocurrency, RBI having their own currency called Lakshmi, if you heard about it. So they are in the planning to launch this currency, but because see, nowadays we are having this UPI. So UPI is not a cryptocurrency. UPI is having a digital wallet where we can do the some transaction with the help of Indian rupees, or anybody can launch their own UPI application. But now the problem is that with the help of UPI, we are having Paytm, we have Google Pay, we are having other type of wallet. So always the question will come, without blockchain also we have a secure connection, the secure communication, secure transaction in the Paytm. So why we need blockchain here? See, the thing is that blockchain is not only for the security. Blockchain is more for the transparency. Like suppose today I will transfer some amount from party A to party B. If the amount is not credited because of some reason, so how I can cross check where is the problem? So that feature is not available in the current system, but we can resolve the same problem with the help of blockchain solution. So probably soon before 2024 election, probably the RBI can launch their own currency called Lakshmi. I am not sure when they will launch, but that is required. So with the help of cryptocurrency, they can resolve so many problems. Problem one is that they can resolve the black money problem. No need to go for demonetization, and they can cross check or they are having record for each and every information for the transaction. So this is what we are having the cryptocurrency here as per the Indian prospectus. Next one, we have the land agreement here. So land agreement is a very common thing here. Nowadays, we are having digital agreement for each and every state, but this is not happening over on the blockchain. So if we are doing any land agreement, land registry over on the blockchain, so the meaning is that who will be the part of blockchain? They will get all the information about the land. If any construction is happening, if any loan will approve, so all the information is going for all the party, those who are the part of that land agreement, the blockchain network. So already ex-CM Chandrababu Naidu, he implemented the same thing in Amravati, which is the capital of Andhra Pradesh. So already they are having this blockchain-based land agreement, blockchain in the place. Next one, I already discussed about the e-voting system from Election Commission of India. So if they can launch everything with the help of blockchain solution, so automatically the voter will get notification acknowledgement that your voting is done, and he or she can cross check the voting information anytime, because we can keep it in the secured ledger over on the blockchain. And the candidate in India, he or she will get the counting automatically. So the meaning is that with the help of e-voting, anybody can give the vote from anywhere in the world. Apart from this, we can save the time and we can save the costing as well. Next one, we have the UID Aadhaar database. So very soon the government having a plan to implement the blockchain for the UID, because we are getting some types of fraud for the UID database. Next one, we have a centralized KYC from RBI. Nowadays, all the bank, they are asking for the different types of KYC if you want to perform any operations. So very soon they are going through the verification with the help of retina or fingerprint. Whenever any verification is required, automatically they can fetch the database from the RBI. So all the bank, they will take the local database, not complete database. They will take only the reference copy, but main database, they can get it with the help of RBI. So like we have a very common topic called fraud detection with the help of fraud detection in the loan fraud detection. So all these things we can stop the blockchain solutions. So because, you know, after this Nirav Modi case, this ICICI Bank, PNB Bank. So PNB Bank used the software from Infosys that is called the Finacle. So they use one layer of the blockchain. In the layer, they are saying that if any loan will approve more than particular limit, so automatically all the blockchain network node, they will get a notification. If we will not get the permission from all the concessions, so this loan cannot be approved further. So that is what we are doing with the help of these modeling techniques. Same thing, we have a digital degree in certificate. So again, here also the huge fraud come in the picture. So in the digital degree in certificate, already we have implemented in various university. So with the help of these way, you know, the user will get public key and private key. So suppose he selected for any MNC, simply he has to be share his or her, you know, the public key with the company, and they can cross check with the help of blockchain network. So the meaning is that we are having a lot of things. We are having a lot of things into the blockchain network. Yeah. So there is no limitations for the application, or there is no limitation of the use case. So very hot case, we are having COVID-19. So actually, we don't know what happened in the COVID-19, like what is the actual the case, what is the actual patient for the COVID-19, because the things are going with the help of manual data entry. So if they implemented the blockchain for each state wise, as per the healthcare ministry or as per the healthcare department, we will cross check all the database over on the blockchain. So nobody can modify the database, or, you know, we can get the secure one. Same thing, we have the vaccine distribution for COVID-19. So the vaccine will be distributed from the central ministry to the state wise. If they can implement the blockchain in the backend, so easily we can track, not only they, everybody can track what is happening for this vaccine distribution for the state wise. So we can have all the information. So the meaning is that apart from the security, we can go for the more transparency with the help of blockchain solutions. And we do have a lot of benefit as well. So finally, what I thought, whenever you wanted to think about the blockchain solution, always think about the you know, the pain area in the society, the problematic area in the business. And that is not a rule that you have to use the blockchain for each and every place. Always think that where we have sensitive database, where we need to be secure a database and we need to give a more transparency, only in that place we need to use a blockchain. Because for the blockchain, one drawback, not drawback, I can say the limitation, because we can talk about the blockchain for, you know, 10 hours, that is not a problem. But when you talk about the implementation point of view, so because in the blockchain we are not going for the centralized one, we are going with the decentralized. So the costing is the one factor in a blockchain. So that is what always we need to be keep in the mind before implementing the blockchain solution. So always think, what is the real-time use case of the blockchain? If I'm doing some implementation of blockchain, whether I will get benefit or not. Or without blockchain also, we are having some perfect system in the previous environment. So once we cross-check all these things, then we can implement it, then we'll get more real-time value for it. So this is what we are having into the system. Again, there is no limitation for the application. Always think about the problematic area, the pan area, then basis on that, we can implement the blockchain solution. And as per the Gartner, the future is blockchain. Not blockchain, I can say that future is industry 4.0. Inside we have blockchain, that is the one concept. So this is what we are having here into the place. Madam, the last one. Yeah. So this is what a few tools we are having for generating the blockchain or decentralized application. So as I told you that we have Hyperledger, we have Ethereum, we have Python, we have R, we have R3 Coda. So here, because the time is limited, else if we will get more time, I will show you that how we can implement the real-time blockchain development. But no issues, we'll talk about the next time. So these are the overall things we are having here. So always I will recommend that if you want to, if you are having some, some thought process, how to implement the blockchain or what we can do for the blockchain, always think that before the blockchain, what implementation we have done, what is the limitation, what is the loophole we are having here, through which how we can go for some advanced enhancement. Then you can implement perfect blockchain for you or the business. Okay, so that is what. So yeah, so ma'am, I have done. Okay.
Yes, fair enough. Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you once again, Dr. Garg and Dr. Jain, for a very, very illuminating session. I'm sure it has been of immense value to our students. So thank you once again for taking time out from your schedule and visiting us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, so that's all that we have for today. Thank you for joining us.